let's talk about Orochimaru! I don't have an Orochimaru plush, so we're gonna have to make do with Mitsuki. It has been a long time since that one trans episode of Boruto aired. That happened in summer of 2018, I believe. So I want to review Orochimaru's gender for people just finding out that they are gender non-conforming or transgender for the first time, because I was astonished that there were so many people who didn't know this. Orochimaru, in an episode of Boruto, says that, quote, "There are times when I have been a man and times a woman, as well as something not of this world," unquote, when responding to the question of whether Mitsuki should mark him as a mom or a dad on the permission slip. I'm going to be using whatever pronouns for Orochimaru in this video. And I have a couple of things to say about that wording. I think the way it is worded, I think it misleads people into thinking that Orochimaru is non-binary because of this body switching ability. Like one of my good friends heard that phrase, the phrase "not things are not of this world," and they joked like, "Yeah, a giant snake." And as a trans person, it's like being trans is not about living in multiple human and inhuman bodies. That's not what makes a person trans. I take a little bit of solace in that he goes on to explain that the will to uncover all truth, that is the core of my being, which has big trans meme energy. That one kind of fill in the blank kind of meme from a long time ago. What's your gender? Well, no, I mean, what's in your pants? What's your gender? Knowledge. No, I mean, what's in your pants? Immortality. Whatever. The point is that people can be trans no matter how many bodies they have inhabited, as is the case in real life. We all inhabit only one body. And I don't like the implication, or the translation, whatever it happened to be, in Boruto that suggests otherwise. Moving on, I've seen the misconception that Orochimaru, because Orochimaru rejects both being a man and a woman, that he is not trans, instead something completely different. That, if that is what you believe, I'm going to show you something about the trans flag. I don't have a real trans flag, so we're going to use this pin that says Miku says trans rights. So the blue stripe is for trans men, the pink stripe is for trans women, and the white stripe in the middle is for all genders that are not trans men and trans women. So you can be non-binary and still be trans. There are some trans people or non-binary people in real life who do not identify with the label transgender, but because Orochimaru is a fictional character and can't comment on whether he would like to be referred to as trans, then I very much stand with people who refer to him as trans. And also plenty of people call Orochimaru a mother or a MILF, or specifically gender terms like that, and I think that that is cool. Being non-binary is very much a playground for gender. So just a snilf, yes. So that brings us to the people who characterize Orochimaru as a transgender woman. And I think that as long as it is done in good faith, like it is in one of my favorite fan fictions ever, Breathe, which I'll link in this description, I think that that is fine also. But because we have one single trans person in all of Naruto, and I think that trans people should be able to play with that in whatever way, as long as it is considered, again, that they choose. Because unfortunately, Orochimaru can fall into anti-trans stereotypes. He spends an inordinate amount of time talking about children's bodies, kidnapping children, killing and mutilating people, usually like laughing and or otherwise just not caring when they are screaming. I've been watching a lot of fillers lately, and the fillers have a lot of that. And the first time we are introduced to this character, he has ripped a woman's face off and is wearing it as a disguise. So overall, not the person I would have chosen to have been our singular trans representation. If I could have chosen someone, it would have been Gaara, or Deidara. I lost my black binder, so Mitsuki is also has Deidara's Kinjutsu now. Anyway, the trans woman Naruto can be, or trans woman Naruto, you can do that if you want. More power to you. Trans woman Orochimaru can be done as long as it is done with caution. And here's where I get to talk about Tumblr blogs, because the blogs Orochimarufacts and Owochimuwu are some of my favorite pieces of Orochimaru media. They just memify every horrible thing that Orochimaru has ever done in a way that is so like cute and weird and extreme. There are jokes like keeping it cunty for my probation officer, and Kabuto diagnosed me with female hysteria just because I vivisected another man for making eye contact with me in the street. Like, okay, misogynist. The humor in these isn't for everyone. There are a lot of drugs, alcohol, references to plastic surgery, gore, medical horror. But I do have a lot of fun with them, and I think of what exists, they are my favorite pieces of trans Orochimaru media, other than maybe cosplay. And I think that it's done well because, first of all, it removes the talking about children's bodies entirely, and it just like makes everything else a joke just to the extreme. Maybe that was a tangent. It's definitely my opinion. Other people, I'm sure, have their own favorite Orochimaru stuff. And I think I've said everything I have to say about Orochimaru's gender. I cannot believe that he's not involved more in Boruto, with all the human experimentation and modifying cells with scientific ninja tools and embedding people with god genes that's going on, because don't you think that they would get a kick out of that? Get that hashtag going. Put Orochimaru back in Boruto. Hashtag Amato. Hashtag not my mad scientist. I might talk about how his ideals of cloning differ from Amato's in a different video. I think that might be interesting. Oh, one thing that I forgot to put in before this, because it doesn't really fit anywhere else, is that I heard someone claim that Orochimaru would not have a sexual orientation or sexual preferences because he's non-binary, and I don't know where someone would get that idea, because as a non-binary, pansexual, polyromantic, I think that is extremely false. I think it might come from the kind of bioessentialist body parts equal gender thing that was kind of going on in that monologue he gave. I've been a man, I've been a woman, I've been something not of this world, tying identity to the body you're in like that. But the thought that I think that generated the thought that because Orochimaru no longer has a gender, people think that he no longer has genitals, and that's not how human bodies work. Anyway, he can fuck. Orochimaru can fuck if he so chooses. And that's the end. Bye. I want to say also that I have this beautiful bag from BEEEANS that I hope to fill full of transgender anime character merch. Right now, basically, this is the only corner. I hope to get a Haruhi Fujioka to go here, and then Miku and Sylveon, of course. So if you know of any people selling merch of trans characters, if you could put those, the links to those, message me them or put them in the comments. I would appreciate it. Thank you.